As you may know, Icefall Cave is located on Four Island, the fourth isle of the Sevi Islands, that has a frozen interior and is teeming with ice Pokemon. I was a Pokemon trainer. Every Pokemon I caught was like adopting children. I was on my way to Sevi Islands to capture a really rare Pokemon. But as I got to Icefall Cave, that's when I heard it. It was this screeching, growling, hissing and vicious yawning sound, like something out of someone's nightmare. It was so loud, it could be heard at a distance. It almost sounded like babies crying. But it was more animal than human once you think about it. I could never forget that scream as long as I live. But given no other choice, as a Pokemon master, I have to go inside, for the sake of my goal. Once I entered the cave, the screaming ceased, and I was met with deafening silence. But that's not what got me in the gut. It was dark. It wasn't just dark though. You could literally feel the darkness. Blackness forever. As I went through the darkness, with my Cyndaquil lighting my way using flash, we could see a tunnel, and decided to go down it. When we went down that tunnel, it felt like an eternity. We smelled something so foul and putrid, it's quite possibly the worst odor you could ever imagine. Worse than any open sewer. Also, there's a smell of burning sulfur. If you ever go to Hawaii to the volcano, they have signposts that tell you you cannot go beyond a certain point because of the toxicity of the burning sulfur coming up. It will kill you if you inhale it. It's called sulfur dioxide. Sulfur is just another word for brimstone. My Pokemon and I are breathing in this foul, putrid, disgusting air that we really don't want to breathe. It's even worse than that though, because there isn't enough air to breathe in general. We have to fight for even the tiniest bit of oxygen. We feel like at any moment, we're going to die of suffocation. There were Arboks all along the edges. I could only see along the edges and through the flames. It's so dark, it consumes the light. After what felt like months, maybe even years, we finally reached something. A flight of spiral stairs made of stone. We went down it, despite our aching legs. We went down the spiraling staircase to see a little ray of light at the end of the stairs. In front of us was this large raging pit of fire. This pit was about a mile across, with flames raging high up into the open cabin. It wasn't metaphorical or allegorical. It was real. Literal fire. This is where I could first see people inside the pit. People were burning and screaming. I know this is awful to hear about. Most of us have never seen a person on fire. Well, unless you're a fireman. The flesh was hanging off their bones. People were screaming, and the screams were so loud, you just wanted to escape them. But you really couldn't. You have to endure that. I wanted to talk to a person. Anybody. There is pleasure in conversation and being with people, but you're kept apart. Even when I saw those people in the pit literally burning through the flames, you're kept at a distance. You never have any conversation. You're isolated and alone for all eternity. That alone is enough to bear. You have no purpose, no destiny. It's just completely useless, wasting away. That's when I heard that damn scream again. It sounded like it came from a cavern on my right. Me and my Pokemon went to investigate, and we were met with another tunnel. But it's short enough to be more like a hallway in school. As we progressed, we walked through some doorway of sorts, to see a long, ginormous bridge with an endless abyss below. We looked ahead, and there we saw what looked like some kind of arena. I don't know what, but that's what it looked like to me. But it was more than that. It was like some kind of throne room. There, we We saw a throne high atop a ledge in front of us. When me and my Pokemon came for a closer look, that's when we saw it. Oh my god. That thing. I just couldn't believe it. A black hand slowly crept upward from the pit below, writhing its fingers as it went. A connected black arm with little strands of hair came after it. The arm continued to reach towards the sky, growing more and more. By the end of that arm, it had to be at least 6 feet long. It finally reached for the armrest of the throne, with its gangly clawed fingers, and the other arm did the same as the other. As the other arm slowly reached the other armrest, the two arms began to pull itself upwards towards the throne. What we saw made us cringe. It was the most hideous thing I've ever seen. Yet it wasn't like other Pokemon. The shape of this monstrosity is utterly perfect, with no sign of any deformities or asymmetrical features. It had two large, crimson cat-like eyes, and a wide mouth having 2 rows of fierce sharp teeth, along with sporting filthy gums. Large bat-like ears, and more broader spines on the back. While the upper structure is enlarged, the shoulders are more stretched, and as well as surprisingly large arms with gnarly hands each possessing clawed fingers. Its lower body is much smaller than its upper torso, and its legs and lower chest are very skinny. It pulled itself up to the throne and sat in it. The thing then let out that horrible screech again, this time a little louder. All of a sudden, every Pokemon in existence came out. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Pikachu, Squirtle, Meowth, Rattata. Everyone came out of the shadows to face me. I was surrounded by every Pokemon in the book. Could this be where Pokemon originated? The thing on the throne couldn't have been like 9 feet tall. Tall enough to reach down from its throne with its long sickly arms, pluck a Pokemon from the ground, and dangle the Pokemon over the abyss. It then proceeded to drop it into the blackness below. Through that statement, proves the terrifying creature's length. It only seems to harm Pokemon if they disobey it, which proves that it's some sort of taskmaster. I pulled out my Pokedex and used it on the creature. It then said this: Tyranna, the devil Pokemon. Tyranna is the first Pokemon to exist over 1 million years and has ruled every Pokemon with an iron fist. No one has ever caught Tyranna, and as a result, many Pokemon trainers have died. What? It couldn't be. The very first Pokemon to walk the earth? I was shocked. This is a Pokemon from prehistoric times, and I was there, watching it loom over me with a look of pure, unadulterated malice. The king of all Pokemon, big and small, psychic or not, water or fire. He ruled them all. He was their alpha male, a horse of a different color, a cold and vengeful god. It would watch every Pokemon in existence and tell them where to go or what to do telepathically. If he gets bored, he'll simply toy with other trainers by putting obstacles in their path, maybe even hallucinate things that aren't really there. And if he gets infuriated, he'll cause other Pokemon to get hurt, injure the trainers, or even cause big storms to strike the town they're in. I just stood there, my eyes glued to this Tyranna thing. And then, the creature reached over towards me, and attempted to pick me up by the back of my shirt. As I was nearly inches from the ground, my Cyndaquil spewed fire at the monster's arm. The creature screeched again, and I was dropped to the ground with a thud. My Cyndaquil saved my life. The creature roared in fury, and my Cyndaquil urged me to run. I was hesitant at first, not wanting to leave my friend behind, but my Pokemon begged me to go, not wanting me to feel Tyranna's wrath. With a heavy heart, and out of sheer terror, I fled the caravan, the rest of the Pokemon following suit after me. I can literally feel the breath of the Pokemon chasing me, and every time I felt it upon me, I began to quicken my pace. I went up the spiral steps, down the dark tunnels and sped out the cave, not once looking back. By that time, I finally felt the urge to look, expecting them to knock me down to the floor, drag me back to the cave kicking and screaming. But I didn't see them. They were gone. They seemed hesitant to leave their hellish abode. My poor Cyndaquil took my place to save me. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to put himself in that situation to save my life. I keep telling myself every night that it should have been me. It should have been me. Before I ran, I saw that demon bastard grab my poor Cyndaquil as it looked in horror, tears in its eyes, literally begging Tyrannus to spare him. I cried over my loss, and I wished that he was still here. But I can't change that. Only some legendary Pokemon can do something like that, and that's if it isn't influenced by that monster. I left the Sevi Islands to escape it all. That cave is filled with so much evil, I can deny it no longer. That demon had turned those Pokemon into his servants, and all who disobey him will die. I never wanted to go back to that cave. Never again. Years have passed since that horrid event, and I'd already purchased the Meowth to keep me away from depression. Looking at another Cyndaquil just leads me more and more closer to suicide. I don't know what that monster did to my Cyndaquil, but I already knew by the way he saved me that it might be excruciatingly painful. Hell, it might have skinned and ate him alive for all I know. I have nightmares every day about the whole ordeal. The smell of burning sulfur, the millions, maybe trillions of trainers burning alive, and the appearance of that beast that is Tyrannus. It all scared me, half to death. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And if you enjoyed today's story, make sure to leave a like. And if you want more like it, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a story. If you need more now, why not check out my Pokepasta playlist? I'll leave that on this card, and I'll catch you in the next story.